ooh, if LeBron can come back, that's going to add to his GOAT status, blah, blah, blah. I never believed that was going to happen. Anthony Edwards. He just marked the changing of the guards in the league, and everybody's talking about it. He didn't want to be in Milwaukee this whole time. And now Dame is finally playing for a contender, and he's starting to look like an old head. Oh, why is this series so violent? Oh, I'll tell you why. Joel Embiid. He has been tripping. We weren't sure if Jamal Murray was going to play last night, and he did, and he delivered with another game winner. If I were a Lakers fan, I would have to see Jamal Murray outside. I'm sorry. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Courtside Chats with me and Revolt Sports. This week, the playoffs were lit, so we have so much to get into. So without further ado, let's get started. First, we're going to talk about some of the games and some of the drama that has happened this week. And we're going to start with the Clippers and Mavs because woo, the girls were fighting, okay? As some of you may have seen literally everywhere, there was a bit of a tiffy going on in the Clippers-Mavs game. Russell Westbrook got ejected. That was crazy. But that's not even my main takeaway from that series this week. It was Kyrie and Luka coming back from a 31-point deficit. 31 points is when the fans start packing up their popcorn, being like, woo, traffic's a little bad, let's get out of here. And they came back all to lose the game. I would be so sick. After the game, Luka said he needs to be better. Kyrie has been great. Luka has been Luka. The only problem has just been his efficiency. But I don't think that Luka is going to keep that up. I think he's going to get better. I'm still holding on for the Mavs in this series because I don't trust the Clippers. But we'll get into that a little bit more a little later. Nuggets Lakers. RIP to this series because honestly, it only went 5 games, but it was really great. And when we look back at this and our kids are saying we're done with the 2000s and whatnot, they're not going to get the fact that this series was a lot better than it looks on paper because every game was so close. The Nuggets gave the Lakers a beautiful Christmas gift and let them win just one game after losing 11 straight. Now, the Nuggets were playing absolutely terrible, so they deserved to lose that one. We weren't sure if Jamal Murray was going to play last night, and he did, and he delivered with another game winner. If I were a Lakers fan, I would have to see Jamal Murray outside. I'm sorry. That man will be popping up in my nightmares. He was amazing. That dunk over LeBron, because of the game winner, nobody's even talking about the dunk over LeBron. That was crazy. Jokic was Jokic. And I mean, I said this whole time that this series was going to end in a gentleman's sweep. I said this whole time that the Lakers were going to get one. People were holding on hope like, ooh, if LeBron can come back, that's going to add to his GOAT status, blah, blah, blah. I never believed that was going to happen. The Lakers were supposed to lose this series. I don't think it's as big of a deal as everybody's trying to make it. I also want to note that in the press conferences throughout this series, LeBron has just looked tired. His priorities and his mind seem to be elsewhere. He obviously started that podcast with JJ Redick. His kid might be coming into the league next year. He just looks like his mind is elsewhere. And I know he said when he's not able to give the game everything he's got, and mind you, he's still playing at a really high level, but I think mentally he might be elsewhere. He said it's just basketball. Like, I would have never thought LeBron James would be saying that. He seems a little bit indifferent, and I just think Unc is tired. I don't know. The sun seems to be setting. Wolves, Suns. Wow. When I list them all out like this, it makes me realize how good the playoffs have been. Wolves, Suns. I have never been so entertained by a sweep in the playoffs in any sport like I had by this series, and that's because of one man, Anthony Edwards. He just marked the changing of the guards in the league, and everybody's talking about it, but it's just so wild that KD, Steph Curry, and LeBron James are all sitting at home right now. I would have never seen this coming, and it's at the hand of Anthony Edwards. I think that the reason this is such a big deal isn't just because the Suns lost, but it's because they got swept. And not only did they get swept, it was a 3-headed snake. Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. I remember before the season started or before they really got their, big 3 together, Devin Booker was like, I don't know how they're going to guard us. Well, the Timberwolves just showed us. It was a mess. Devin Booker played incredible. I honestly feel bad for the guy because he was just playing in the finals, it feels like, and then they blew the whole team up. Now it's just him, new coaches, new ownership, new players around him. He's not even playing in his regular position. I feel bad for Devin Booker, man, but Bradley Beal, nasty work. Nasty work. He had said, first of all, I got to get into Bradley Beal for a second. He has said, I'll be damned if I get swept. I've never been swept before. Yeah, bro, you were playing in Washington. Has he even played in the playoffs? Like, no shit, you haven't been swept. You haven't been playing at this level. And on top of that, you go into an elimination game. You play like booty cheeks, okay? More fouls and turnovers than points. and then you go into the post game and you laugh, and I can't even be mad at the guy because he's laughing all the way to the bank because they still owe him $50 million. No trade clause. Crazy work. The Thunder and the Pelicans, I think that people are making kind of a big deal out of this, and they're like, oh yeah, now we got to take the Thunder seriously. And I feel like I took the Thunder seriously before the series even started. Like, they're the number 1 seed. I get it, they're young, but they're the number 1 seed for a reason. And yeah, they swept the Pelicans. The Pelicans are without their star player. The Pelicans were in the play-in tournament. The Pelicans are the 8th seed. That's kind of how it's supposed to go. The number 1 seed plays the 8th seed. They're supposed to have an easier road because they earned it, because they're number 1. And I think people are like, oh wow, we gotta really take the Thunder seriously just because they're young. And it's like, they're literally doing what they're supposed to do. I can't wait to see in their next series how they do against a higher level opponent so that people can stop talking about them like they're like an anomaly and not supposed to be here, because they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Celtics Heat, I think that this one's very obvious. This one has been very obvious. If the Heat had Jimmy Butler, that'd be a whole other story. And I'm really sad about it, honestly, because I love Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. But the Celtics are really good. Now, Porzingis being out might be interesting, because that is really the difference in their team this year. But hopefully he gets healthy and my playoff predictions end up being correct. Celtics, Nuggets, I don't know, y'all. Things might get interesting. Cavs, Magic. Can I be honest about this? Are we gonna sit here and pretend like listen, because this is my job, I have looked into this series, okay? And I could sit here and I could tell you all, like, this series has no aura, okay? And the powers that be know it, because they keep putting their games on at 11 a.m. in the middle of the morning news on NBA TV and Bravo. And it's hard to find the game and you can't fucking watch it. And it's like, but the thing is about it is the content. Listen, I tried to tune in the other day. They were on TNT. I tried to tune in. They're just trading blowouts. So I already didn't want to watch the series. And now y'all are just blowing each other out by 30 game by game by game. I don't care. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't care. Whoever wins this, we'll talk about it then. And it's tied. So that I want to be more interested, but I'm just not. I'm sorry. Bucks, Pacers. Now, if you've been tuning into the show, you would know what I had said about this series after we were all up in arms about Dame dropping 30 in the first half. The Bucks were in trouble, are in trouble, will be in trouble. They're not healthy. They're cursed, as I've been saying, since they fired Coach Bud right after his brother died, and then they hired Adrian Griffin, fired him in the middle of the season while they were doing well, and then hired his advisor. I believe in karma. I never thought that this was going to work out. And then on top of that, what could have been if they would have just sent Damian Lillard to Miami where he wanted to go? What would have been? He didn't want to be in Milwaukee this whole time. And now Dame is finally playing for a contender and he's starting to look like an old head. Oh, it's so nasty. And Giannis is falling out of the face of the league conversation because he should be in it. Giannis is very young and very good. He's falling out of that conversation because he's hurt and this is a mess. Their whole season's been a mess. I just want the Pacers to put them out of their misery. I'm ready for this to be done. Oh, and on the subject of the Bucks being cursed, I think a lot of people forget Drew Holiday felt slighted by the way he departed from them as well. His wife made that whole statement about how they didn't tell him before they were going to get rid of him and business is business, but I think they're cursed and they've handled a lot of stuff very incorrectly. Knicks 76ers. Why is this series so violent? Oh, I'll tell you why. Joel Embiid. He has been tripping. He's breaking people's ankles and he got what was coming to him though, because he made a cheap shot at Jalen Brunson, who y'all know I love and I think is severely underrated. And then Jalen Brunson was like, bet. And it's so funny because there's a video where you can see right after Embiid does the cheap shot, he like elbows him. And Jalen Brunson's like, what the hell, man? What the hell? Respect the game, man. And then he just goes off. I think that is so funny, but I love this Knicks team. I think they've got great chemistry. They're well coached. They all rally around their coach and each other. They've got that little Villanova, like, college chemistry going on as well. Like, I watch their podcast. They get along off the court and they do the little things. You got Hartenstein grabbing rebounds. You got Josh Hart grabbing rebounds. And then you've got Dante DiVincenzo who can make tough shots. And then you've got Jalen Brunson at the head of the snake and they all like rally around him and love him and respect him. I think that they've got good camaraderie going on. And on top of that, the fan base. The Knicks haven't been good for a lot of my life. So I haven't really experienced Knicks fans on 10 the way that they are right now. And can I just say, wow, the way that they packed out Philly and had Joel Embiid crying, talking about this never happens, our fans should do better. Bro, y'all should do better. Give your fans something to cheer for. I think that it's great. I can't wait to see Knicks Pacers because that's what it's going to be. So stay tuned in because I like the Knicks. Okay, so now I'm going to give you my quick takeaways from the most recent games that we just got past, the game 4s and 5s. These have been crazy. Like, what is in the air? I can only imagine as we get deeper into the playoffs how good it's going to be because the next matchups we're about to get are going to be great as well. But starting with the Thunder and the Pelicans. My main takeaway from this is that the Thunder deserve their number 1 seed, as I said. And Zion or no Zion, sweeping any team is a big deal. Good for the Pels. Also, I want to say, I feel really bad for Zion. Like, I feel really bad for Zion because we're experiencing this whole changing of the guards in the NBA. I also feel bad for Jamal Murray. But we're experiencing this whole changing of the guards in the NBA. It's really sad to see Zion and Ja not be a part of it. And I need Ja, Zion. I need to see them play each other and see them fight a little more for the face of the league conversation. Clippers, Mavs, my main takeaway from this is that, as I've said before, I can't trust the Clippers because I have seen Luka and Kyrie be really big when it matters. I have also seen James Harden come up short when it matters. Paul George come up short when it matters. I have also seen Kawhi Leonard in street clothes when it matters. I can't trust the Clippers. I would have zero faith in them if they weren't so well coached. But still, I think the Mavs are going to win the series in 7. My main takeaway from Wolves Suns is that Anthony Edwards is now who we expected Ja Morant to be. Now, that is not Ja Morant's fault entirely. Whoa, that was a little crazy. That's not his fault entirely because he did have his redemption. He did come back and he got hurt. That's not his fault. But what I was expecting to see from Ja Morant in his playoff career, sweeping off the idols and what I was really expecting that from Ja, and we're getting it from Ant. So Ja gonna have to come back and fight for his spot because right now Ant got it. My main takeaway from Nuggets Lakers is I think the sun is setting on LeBron. I think he's getting tired. I think his main goal is to get his son to the NBA. I don't think his main goal is to win a championship anymore. I don't know that he will win any more championships. And if I were a Lakers fan, I would have to cash Jamal Murray outside. My main takeaway from Celtics Heat is Derek White. I'm sorry, Derek White. I need to start treating you the way I treat Jalen Brunson. Because if I can say Jalen Brunson is severely underrated, you are wow. You're that one series they keep putting on NBA TV. Like, nobody pays Derek White no attention. And he is great. I saw a tweet. I think Messi was at the game, and somebody tweeted and was like, Messi's going to leave the game thinking that Derek White is the greatest player to ever play in the NBA. And it's so true. And he's been great in the playoffs the last 2 years. Derek White, I'm sorry. We're acting like we're not familiar with your game. You deserve more attention. Cavs Magic. My main takeaway from this series is these teams have no aura. I'm so sorry. And they needed to give y'all better marketing. You deserve better. And I am so sorry. Bucks Pacers. My main takeaway from Bucks Pacers, I mean, the Pacers are doing what they got to do, but it really don't got nothing to do with them. Chris Middleton had a legacy game. He looked like Chris Middleton from championship year, and they just wasted it. They just wasted it. I feel so bad for that man because we're not going to see it again. He's not going to do it again. And now he's without Dame and Giannis. It's just sick. The Bucks need to be put out of their misery. I do hope, because I really like Damian Lillard and I really like Giannis Antetokounmpo, I really hope that they get healthy in the offseason and things can be better for next year. But this year was just a little bit of a mess. My main takeaway from Knicks 76ers, and I don't think I really wanted to see it before, is that Joel Embiid might be a little bit of a dirty player. He be tripping. And I know he's an emotional guy, and I feel like it comes from that in the moment. But if Draymond Green did a fraction of the stuff Joel Embiid did, we would be burning him at the stake. Adam Silver would be calling him lifetime ban. It would be a mess. I don't think that that's entirely fair. I know it's the playoffs. I don't want him getting suspended or anything like that, but it's just something to watch out for. Joel Embiid might be a little messy. Now I'm gonna get into some of my hot takes, and these are a couple of things that I have been bursting at the seams to talk about. The first one is the NBA and the lack of patience epidemic. Okay. I said this yesterday. I'm just a girl. I've never been involved in the NBA in any capacity besides yapping. I get that because I can see the comments now. But just hear me out. These GMs and these people who know basketball way better than I do don't seem to understand the fact that post Steph Curry, KD teaming up era, the super team thing is not working anymore. It's not working anymore. And if you see something in your team currently, why would you blow the team up and try to create something brand new? Okay? Let me give you some examples. Let's start with the Lakers and when they won the chip in the bubble. Okay? Great, woo, happy. Then they go and blow the team up. They get rid of Kuz. They get rid of Alex Caruso. They blow the team up and then decide to become the oldest team in the NBA because they let LeBron play GM a little bit too much and bring all his homies on the team. Obviously, that didn't work. And Russell Westbrook, I hope they burn any highlights of you during that era because that was terrible. Okay, so obviously that didn't work. So they make Frank Vogel the fall guy. They fire him, their championship coach. Then they continue on. They're still not what they used to be. They're still not getting back to that championship level, obviously, because they're not the same team anymore. And then they bring in some new guys. They get a little bit better, but they never quite get back to where they were. Why? Because they saw something that worked and then they blew the team up. That don't make no damn sense. Then you look at the Suns. Devin Booker is the only player left from that year they went to the finals. Just him. And now they got him running around playing somebody else's position. It's a mess. When his point guard used to be Chris Paul, one of the greatest point guards to ever do it. It doesn't make any sense. They fired their coach. They've got new ownership, which is understandable. But everything is different from the year they went to the finals. They saw something work. They completely changed it. Then you look at Denver. They practice patience with their team. Jamal Murray got severely hurt. He thought they were going to trade him. They didn't give up on him. And now he's hitting 2-game winners for them. They practiced patience. And now look at them. You look at OKC. Okay? They drafted well. Okay? They're coached well. And you've seen them grow and develop. No, they were not good and they were not championship contenders every single year. And they might not win the championship this year. But that's how you get better. Then they go into the offseason and they get to practice. It doesn't make any sense to see something work or to have one off year and to blow the entire thing up, especially after winning a championship. The only reason that formula worked for the Warriors back in 2017, 2016 is because they already had that core like OKC has. They already had their coach. They already had their players. They already had continuity. They were a 73-win team. That's why it worked. That was an anomaly. Can we stop trying to recreate it? Please, I'm begging you. Y'all thought you were just going to go get Bradley Beal and Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and just cook everybody and you were going to win a championship? It don't work like that. And now everybody's like, they need to blow it up. They need to try something new. Get rid of them. No, they just gave up everything they had to get this core. You don't think they should run it back and try? And if it doesn't work, then we can talk then. But you can't just have one off year and blow everything up. I don't think it works personally. My next take I want to give, because LeBron lost yesterday, and I know y'all already about to piss me off, but the Nuggets loss, the first round exit that LeBron just had, has no impact on LeBron's legacy. Okay? Nothing LeBron does from today going forward is allowed to have any negative impact on his legacy. The only thing that could affect of LeBron's legacy at this point is winning a championship, and that's positive. I am so tired of this high standard we hold LeBron at the age of 39 being held against him, because if anything, that should be a testament to his greatness, that we're still expecting the impossible out of him at his age. Yes, he's still playing a high level. Yes, he's still great, but we didn't expect the things that we expect out of LeBron at 39 out of Kobe or Michael Jordan or any other player when the sun was setting. It's not fair. I saw a tweet yesterday that was like, let's look at LeBron's seasons with the Lakers ever since the championship. And I just want to add a little bit of context because I think that we're getting lost. They won the championship in 2020. 2021, they had a first round exit against the Suns. Then they blew it up. They go get Russell Westbrook. They get rid of Montrezl Harrell. They get rid of KCP. They change everything. They become the oldest team in the league. Then in 2022, they missed the playoffs. Then the Lakers had a 0.3% chance of even making the playoffs. And then they changed their whole team. LeBron leads them to the Western Conference Finals, and they get swept by the eventual champions. But is anybody even looking at all LeBron went through to even get to the Western Conference Finals last year? He won a play-in game against the Timberwolves, I believe. And then he goes in the playoffs, immediately has to face the Grizzlies, who hate the Lakers. They were beefing all season last season. Then they have to play the Warriors, knock them off. And then they get to play the Nuggets. And LeBron is 38 at the time, having to put the team on his back. Yeah, they got swept. Not a big deal. It was a big deal that they were even in the Western Conference Finals in the first place. And then this year, they came out of the play-in again. So I think that we're holding him to an unrealistic standard, and it's not fair. And if you weren't going to hold your other GOATs to that standard, you can't knock LeBron's legacy because he didn't win the championship at 40. That's not fair. Well, I feel like we went through a lot this episode. I had a lot to say, okay? But I hope you guys enjoyed and that you stay tuned in to Courtside Chats with me and Revolt Sports, because all playoffs long, we're getting into everything. Thanks for watching.